Hi everyone. So this morning we are going to take a look at possible RAM, hard drive SSD, and PCI SSD upgrades on the iMac late 2013, 27 inches. It's iMac 14,2 A1419 EMC2639. So let's go to our category for this Mac and we will see what can be upgraded on this one. So it's here, it's a late 2013 iMac 14,2. As you can see, the standard storage is 1 terabyte hard drive. It's got a serial ATA 6 GBS GBC connection, and this model has a SATA 3 6 GB connector for a 3.5 inch hard drive or SSD, as well as a PCI connector for the NVMe SSD. If we go to Apple website, we can see that the storage is the 1 terabyte hard drive, and then it's configurable to 3 terabyte hard drive, 1 TB or 3 TB fusion drive, or 256, 512, or 1 terabyte of flash storage. So what you can have is you either have a hard drive, which the most iMacs would come from, just a hard drive, either 1 terabyte or 3 terabyte hard drive, standalone hard drive. So if we wanna see how it look like in the Mac. So this is the Mac, which then it is open, and this is a 3.5 inch hard drive. So that will be the only storage there would be on a majority of the iMacs. Then there are the other iMacs which are 1 TB or 3 TB fusion drive. Fusion drive means that you have a one hard drive installed in a bay, and also PCI SSD flash, PCI flash SSD. This one is the Aura X2 because it's OWC video, but normally there will be Apple SSD in this connector. And the Fusion is just the software side of the Apple operating system which enables you to fuse on a software level, fuse the hard drive with the SSD to get a better performance. Or just example, if you have just 1 terabyte hard drive, the more likely writing and reading speed you would get it PAD to 150 megabytes per second, whilst with the Fusion that can jump up to 600 megabytes per second, 550, 600, which is almost SATA 3 equivalent for the SSD. SATA 3 SSD would run around 550, 560. And I have a Mac Mini 2014, and I just checked. We have a Fusion there, 1 terabyte and 128 gigabyte SSD, original from Apple. It's a Fusion, and there was a reading speed around 600, a writing speed around 300. So as you see, compared to ordinary hard drive, that helps really. Or if you don't have any of these, you will have just a SSD, 256, 1 terabyte flash storage, which would be this. So that this bay, HDD bay, will be empty. There will still be connectors, so at a later stage you can still install SSD in it or even hard drive. That will be a pure choice, but that would be configured with SSD because that was the most expensive option. There will not be that many iMacs which would only have SSD flash storage installed, so the most of them will come like this or will have a Fusion. So now when we know, and also for the memory, just when we're here, for the memory, it has a 2 4 gigabyte memory sticks. It's a DDR3 memory, 1600 megahertz SODIMM, which means it's small. SODIMM is like a laptop memory. It's configurable 16 or 32 because it has 4 user accessible slots. We will take a look at those as well in this. How to replace memory. Let's see if we can move it to the point when you will see where is it. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so here this is basically the slot, and you will press on it from the bottom, and that will give you an opening. Of course, this video is for it basically shows from 2012 to 2013. Yeah, okay, so that's how we go about memory. I will include all the link to these videos on the YouTube video description, so you can go through it and see. You can watch and see how it's done, and it's easy. It's very easy to follow. The videos are very good. So yes, so that will be that. Now, if we think about that, you have the hard drive only on iMac, and you want to add a hard SSD instead of a hard drive. You want to change hard drive for the SSD. Then we have some good offers here, and we have some complete kits. So if you land on this page, which also this link will be included in video description, just to go to filters and filter on kit swap HDD for SSD. And so we have the 5 of these kits here, which they have everything we need to exchange the hard drive for SSD, or if you don't have a hard drive, just install SSD in it. So I will open this OWC just to explain components. So first of all, you get to adapt a drive, which is a 3.5 inch to 2.5 inch adapter. It serves to basically supplicate for the size of the 3.5 inch SSD, which is bigger than 2.5 inch SSD. So in order for you to install the SSD, which is maybe like this big, you need this adapter to install the SSD in it. Here is the connector, so the SSD will be sitting here. You see these four holes. So that's when you screw your SSD from the bottom, and SSD is connected to this connector first inside, and then screw on this adapter. Then you have the SATA and thermal sensor. So the SATA connector, it goes from one side here. The other side will be connected to the logic board, and this is a thermal sensor, and you will stick it on your SSD. So if you imagine that the SSD is sitting somewhere here, you may wanna stick it somewhere here. You see here what the adapter is. So maybe like in this position, you stick that thing here. That regulates and take care of the overheating of your SSD. So if you're writing too much data or something gets more heated, the fan will be activated by the sensor and will cool off your SSD. Then you have this plastic prying tool. You will need it when you will be disconnecting some cables on the iMac. The cutting wheel helps you to separate display from the chassis because it's taped. It's taped to the chassis, so you need the cutting wheel to go around. Again, it's all explained in the video, and the video link will be there in the description. Then you have screwdrivers. You will need suction cups to take care of display. They help you to separate display from the chassis. And then there is anti-static cloth, which you will need to put on some parts when you will be taking iMac apart. You will need some place to put some parts on, so that helps you. And then when you reseal the Mac and you put back the display, then it's recommended to lay it down for 24 hours just to make sure that the display will stick properly using the tapes to the chassis. So then you can then lay your iMac display down on this cloth, and it will help you because of the weight of the Mac will be pushing from the top to the display on a flat surface, just to making sure that everything sticks properly. So that's the explanation of the kit and our components in it. You will see in a video how to use all these components, how to put everything together. And in terms of this, there is not much to be said about these kits except there are different brands. So this one is made with the Crucial MX500 SSD. This kit is made with the Integral. This one is made with the Tools and Transcend SSD. And these two are the OWC's Mercury Electra 6G and the another one is Mercury Extreme. As you can hear, the Extreme, it means that it's a build for the extreme, that you can basically put this SSD in the extreme. What that means is, if you are professional, like a film producer, music, video, photo editing, and some other professionals, then there is more likely you will be working with a high with the big data, big files, high definition, which are big gigabytes, terabytes of written data. So this is the SSD to go for, because it's durable, and you can write you can write a lot of data on it during its lifetime before it actually starts to wear off. So if you're professional and you have this, you do this kind of work, then I would definitely recommend to take a look at this one. It's a pricier than the other four, but again, if you do your work as a professional and you have a company, then you can, of course, it's your expense, and then what you can claim VAT back on your VAT return, and so on. So they're definitely worth to take a look at this kit if you are professional. But even if you are a professional, you don't really want to invest that much, it's still okay to go for Mercury Electra 6G or Transcend or Crucial. Are all very reliable SSDs. They all have a 5 years warranty, and in case the SSD go bad or develops fault during use, it will be replaced within 5 years from your purchase, and it will be also replaced, and the resealable tapes will be also provided with it, because obviously you will have to open a Mac and take a display off, and then you need to re-tape it. So you will not get only SSD, but you will also get the tapes. So that's how we take care of any possible fault. So this would resolve the upgrade of the hard drive. And now, if you want to, you see, the Fusion, usually when you have a Fusion drive like 1 TB or 3 TB, then you would have a 1 TB hard drive or 3 TB hard drive, but then flash storage wouldn't be very big. It probably would be something around, let's see what every Mac is describing how big. Sometimes 64 gigabytes, sometimes 128, which is not very big. No, there is no information here. Yes, so 128 gigabyte SSD, as you can see. So it's not very big. So you may, so even if you only have a hard drive or you have a Fusion, you may still want to either add flash SSD if it wasn't already included in your iMac, or you may want to upgrade, say, 128 gigabyte for 512 or maybe 1 TB. Depends on your needs, how much space you need for your files and folders. So for this purpose, we go to types again, and you need to check and see the kit to add replace PCI SSD. So when you click that, it gets you, we have a two kits. Now again, even though I know that if you will be buying, if you're going to upgrade the hard drive and you already put into basket one of these kits, yes, I know there is a tapes, I know there is a suction cups and all the rest of it, but there are some specific tools which you will need to upgrade this SSD. As you can see, you have much more screwdrivers here. There is also this hex drive here, hex key here, and everything, and tape as well. But again, you can buy just the SSD, and maybe you get some screwdrivers. You can actually find what the screwdrivers are here. So if it happens you already have screwdrivers, like it's all here. So all screwdrivers, what you need, all drivers are here. So if it happens you have these drivers, then you don't have to buy the whole kit. You can just go and get the SSD. Okay, you can just SSD alone, and no kits, no tools, because you will already have suction cups and cutting wheel and and some screwdrivers with the kit for the 2.5-inch SSD. But if you don't have these particular screwdrivers, if you don't have these, then I really recommend to go for the whole kit. It won't be much difference on the price between just the standalone SSD and this kit. It's probably £20 more or something, but you get all kits you need. So it's up to your consideration, of course. We prepare the whole kit, so there is no hassle on the upgrade. But as I said, if you check what screwdrivers are there and you have them all home, then sure, just go and get an SSD. You can go for this. I know it says for MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, but it's still compatible with iMac as well. It's just it's very hard on our website. Google doesn't like a long title, so we just really need to squeeze as much information as we can into one into title. So it's very hard to add everything. But if you go to say compatibility on the page, you will see that the iMac is also there. It's Mac Mini is there. Okay, so if you just need standalone SSD, you have all tools on everything, so you can get this one. You don't have to go for the whole kit. So now go to memory, because I don't want to make this really too long. Oh, another thing I should have I forgot to mention on at the start of the video. It's important when you either if you're looking for the add memory or upgrade memory or hard drive or SSD or maybe something else. It's very important to know your MAC identifier. The reason I'm saying is that we communicate with our customers. They come to us with telephone or email, and they're asking questions about their Mac. Unfortunately, many times they just say, I have this iMac 27-inch and I need hard drive. If you send us email like that, it doesn't tell us very much. There is so many 27 inches iMacs, 2013, 2014, 15, 16. They're all different configurations. Some of them use different drives. So it's important to quote model identifier, very easy to find. On your Apple, click the icon in the left-hand side upper corner, then click about this Mac window. You get a window on the screen, click more info, then system report, and right away from the hardware overview, you will see model identifier. Now, this may change a little bit with the newer operating system like Sur, Big Sur, Monterey, or Ventura, but it will not be that different. You can still work it out. So this is very important. Now, A number and EMC number, this is how we decided to qualify these the Macs we offer here. This can be found on the bottom of the leg of the iMac, and it's also like a double confirmation. So you have your model identifier, and when you also get your A number and EMC number, is like a double confirmation that, yes, this is your iMac, and then you go and search for compatible parts. It's similar like, unfortunately, there is no such a database like for the car industry where you can use the plate number of the car on the website. You go buy filters, oil filter for your car or something, and there is the integration for these car companies when you can just use the plate number, and they will be able to identify from it what your car is and then offer you compatible parts. Unfortunately, there is no such database, so we just decided to do it this way, and so that's about that. So important to know model identifier, and now you know how to find it. Okay, and so let's jump on the memory. Memory is a DDR3 1600 megahertz, and you can add 32 gigabyte memory, which with the 4 slots, it means that you can add 4 8 gigabyte memory. Now, as I mentioned, you already have 2x4. You already have a 2x4 in a slot. You can keep it. If you're not really like a gaming very much, that you demand that the system like a gaming, the games demands more random access memory to run faster. Or if you are not professional doing film pictures and music and similar, then you can. I give you my opinion. I would keep my existing 2x4 memory, and I would only go and buy 2x4 or 2x8. So we go to the size here in the filter. So what I would do, I would either buy this 2x4, so I would make it 16 gigabyte, or I would go for 2x8 and make it 24 gigabyte. If I'm just a standard user, honestly, as a standard user, 2x4, it's good enough. If you're professional, again, then I would remove the memory. I wouldn't even think about it. I would remove the memory and I would go for full 2 of these and make it a 32 gigabyte. As a professional person, then that's what I would do. And also for the upgrades for the hard drives, if I am professional, I would definitely change the hard drive for the SSD, at least 1 terabyte SSD or maybe 2 terabyte SSDs, because you work with big files. And also the PCIe SSD, the minimum 1 tera or 2 terabyte as well. That I would run macOS from this, because this would be faster than SSD in this bay. And also, if you install SSD instead of hard drive and also PCIe SSD, you no longer need to worry about Fusion. You don't have to do it. The Fusion was really meant for the mechanical hard drives and PCIe SSD as a mean of increase the performance of the ordinary hard drive. Once you change this for SSD and this for the SSD here, you just use them separately. My advice is to keep PCIe SSD macOS on it, because it's much faster than this one. On some of the iMacs, depends what the PCIe line you have. This, unfortunately, the Apple does not tell us what the PCIe lines are for the iMacs. But I would say for the 2013, that would be PCIe 2x2, or I don't think it's a PCIe 3x4. So anyway, the flash SSD would give you minimum at least 1600 megabytes per second, whilst the standard SSD, 2.5 SSD, which is SATA bottleneck, 550, 560 megabytes per second. So definitely macOS on the PCIe SSD. And this would be just data drive, moving all data there. Once you process the data, you have your application on a PCIe SSD for the faster processing. So you render your data, or you edit, you do whatever you want, and then just transfer them over for keeping to the SSD. That's what I would do. But everybody has his own system, so it is just the advice. Also, as with SSD and with everything, before you change any drives or before you change memory, do the backup first of the old drive. You don't want to lose any data, especially again if you're professional. You do some photo shoots or say the wedding or something. Now the last thing you need is to lose the data. So the backup time machine is the best. You need either external hard drive to be connected to iMac, or you can use a network attached device, which you will be accessing either via Wi-Fi, or you will be connecting it via Ethernet, or you can back up the cloud. If you purchase additional space with the Apple Cloud, you can have as many terabytes as you want with Apple. And so that's what you would be doing your backup. Actually, I'm not too sure if you can do time machine backup on iCloud. I have to find out. Sorry for that. But I think you could, but I'm not too sure. Maybe not. I will have to check that. All right. And so there is reason why time machine is before Big Sur and Monterey and Ventura, you didn't have to worry about time machine backup as much, as long as you could have some third-party software like Carbon Copy Cloner, and you would be doing a backup of your SSD that way. Then, because it was making you the bootable backup of your drive. So if anything would happen to your drive, you just swap them over and you have the same Mac as you had. It will create a complete clone of your existing hard drive, and it would be bootable. With the Big Sur, that's no longer possible. Apple made the bootable partition of the drive proprietary, and this does not allow anybody to mess with it. So you will no longer be able to create a bootable copy of your existing drive. You can still create the exact copy of the drive as it is, but you will not be able to boot from it. So you can still create this using third-party softwares, but it will not be bootable. So for that reason, I think that time machine backup is probably better, because then you can, if anything happens, if your computer crashes or you need to change SSD or something, then after you swap the faulty SSD or faulty drive, you just connect time machine backup and go from there and restore everything onto new drive easily, and Apple enable you to do it very easily. So that would be my recommendation. Do the time machine backup. It's the best way to go. Yeah, just thinking what did I want to say. You can also let's see what the ports we have here. So it's got a Thunderbolt port and SDXC cards. We also have some cards, storage cards for this iMac. If you would looking for the increased memory, then we have some. These are like micro SD cards, but they are all with adapters, so that's okay. As long as you have this adapter, you can insert it into your iMac, and you have two Thunderbolt 2 ports. So if, for example, you watch these videos and it would be too intimidating, and you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm not sure I want to open the Mac. Maybe I just keep that hard drive. Is there anything external?" Yes, you can. We have this. Let me go there. We have some external drives for these Macs as well, which you can use. Oh, sorry, to go here. The Transcend created the jet drives 855 and 25, 825 and 855, which were made for these Macs with Thunderbolt 2 ports, and they will be bootable. So what you can do, you can install macOS on this SSD. You can run your Mac from this SSD, which is outside of your Mac. You will be still able to run your macOS. It's a PCI SSD, as you can see. It's fast. Again, I believe the Thunderbolt 2 gives 10 GB per second transfer data, so which is very impressive. It's pretty good. And just trying to see if there is any mention about the no. Okay, so let's see, Thunderbolt 2 speed. I'm not sure. I don't want to give you. No, it's 20 gigabyte per second actually, which is quite impressive. So you can use the external. It wasn't designed just for the iMac, but also for the MacBook and MacBook Air with the Thunderbolt 2 port. The thing is that iMac is sitting on your table. It's not like you're taking it anywhere. So the SSD can be hanging from the back of your Mac. It's no big deal, and you get yourself really good and reliable external SSD as well, and you can take it with you as well. Even if it happens you go to some kind of photo shoot outside or something, so you can still use this external drive to store your data. And we also have this tool which was recently implemented a couple of months ago. If you go with this tool, then we have the iMac14,2. Yes, so you choose 14,2, and if you hit a search on this page, there is all there is for this Mac we have, which is compatible with this Mac. Okay, so this PCI SSDs here, the sensors, tools only, memory. It's the best to go on a category. So if you just want a memory, then it will display your memory here, which is compatible. Then tools and service kits. It gives you the tools which are for this Mac. If you go to storage, then it will offer you. See, these are the kits I showed you at the start. These are some PCI SSDs you can use, and these are the kits, and also standalone SSDs. Again, if you already have the tools, you don't really need any of these tools. Then you can just get SSD and do it your way. So that's the internal. So then you can also filter if you are on a storage. You can filter according to internal storage or external storage. Okay, so the external, you will see these trans and jet drives I mentioned, and with the internal, you will get all these internal drives. So that's pretty much all. You would be able to also use the Thunderbolt 3 external SSDs with your iMac, but you would need the converters for this. You will need the cables. What I could recommend is the Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3 cable from Apple. I wouldn't buy anywhere else. You can get this cheaper, I know, but these are the most reliable. So you would need this. This is the adapter, and also you will need to get a cable. And the cable, I believe, is here. It's a 2-meter cable. So these two items, and so what? As you can see, this is your Thunderbolt 3 end. This is a Thunderbolt 2, okay, because you have a Thunderbolt 2, and now you have this cable. As you can see, so the one end is going to go to your computer. Another end is going to go here, and then this you will be connecting to. This you will be connecting to the computer to the computer. So to the device. Sorry, not the computer, to the device, because it's from computer. And this will end up in a device. Now you need to make sure, if with this Thunderbolt 3, for example, this one, it will not be possible because the cable is already there. Okay, but if you have some external drive which with which a cable is not connected, okay, so it's like the cable is standalone, okay, like here, then you can use it. If you know what I mean. You can use this drive with your iMac, but you wouldn't be able to use this one because this one has the cable already in it, so you just cannot connect it to Thunderbolt 2. So this but you can use this, for example, or I believe you could use this one as well. This dock with the Thunderbolt 3, because that's what this end is going to go. It's going to go here, and then these cables will be connecting to your computer and to this adapter. So okay, so that's all, and I hope you find this helpful. And if you have any questions or you would like to get in touch, please let us know. There is a contact on the YouTube, or leave a comment or like the video. I hope this video you will find it useful. All we're trying to do here is really to give the informations, because we, as I said, we communicate with our customers, and many times we see that they cannot like imagine how it's look inside the Mac, and what is a PCI SSD, what is hard drive. So in these videos we want to visually let them see, and then they can watch these videos and understand better what is involved in it, and whether they can do it themselves, or they can use the professional services to have it done for them. So okay, so that's all, and I hope to talk to you with the next video, which will be out next week, then Monday. Okay, I wish you all a good weekend and a good day as well.